All right, well, we got the brick on the buildings done. I got the grout on the mortar, and then yesterday I went out and dull coated everything, sealed it in. Um, so what I basically did here, I know it looks, some of the stains look a little bit too dark almost, but I figured I wanted this building to be well used looking and stained with different things, possibly glass and stuff. It is an Acme factory after all, and Acme products are known for blowing up. So, we had some explosions nearby, I'm sure. Um, so that's one of the buildings. Like I said, I used a red oxide, red rust primer. I think it was Krylon or something like that. But this is what the color looks like normally without brick. So we first painted that, or I first painted that, and then after I was done with that, I went over it with the brick mortar. I use Robert's brick mortar, and I've had requests to show how it's done. So we're gonna show how it's done. Basically, you need your piece that you're working on, a paintbrush, preferably a paintbrush that's a little bigger. You don't want to use a real tiny one because you're just going all the way over it, and if you use too small, you're going to find yourself it's going to take a really long time to do. Then you're going to need a damp rag. So we're going to get that set up in a minute here, and then we'll show you how to do that. This guy here, this was already a building that I bought. It's actually HO scale. We're going to turn it into an S scale building and put it up next to one of the factories, like I showed you in the other video. But I thought the roof was a little bit too shiny. They did a great job weathering this thing, but the roof panels a little shiny still, but not so bad. I hit it pretty good with the dull coat, and that worked pretty good. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to lift it up. I'm going to use these styrene strips. I'm going to make a base for it with them. Going to lift this guy up so that's a little higher. So these doors here are dock height. That way I can kind of use them for dock doors. And got the water tower weathered. I used weathering powder and a black wash on it. I just kind of let the black wash run over it a bit, and I blotted it off so it looked kind of like blotchy, like it was stained over and over and over and over again. We got the fire department here. I didn't weather the bricks on the fire department. I think the fire department pretty much keeps their building, in nice shape. So I just did the mortar on it, and we're calling that good because fire departments take good care of their stuff generally. And here's the other factory building. I just wanted a real worn, dirty look to it. And then over here, that's what it looks like before it's weathered. This part is pointed towards the wall, so I just was like, well, I know I could have weathered it. I probably should have weathered it. I could still do it if I want to. So that's what we got so far today. That's where we're at. Went to the train store the other day. I got some more grass, some fine ballast for gravel parking lots. So I got a lot of gravel parking lot to do, so I got 2 bags of that. Signs from Dave's decals came in, the billboards. I've been wanting these ones for quite a while. And Dave did a really nice job on them. So we got those for the car lot. And we're going to show you how to do. Okay, so we're going to do the brick mortar. And since I already have it done on the buildings, I'm just going to do it on this brick sheet here. You can see here, I did this a little bit along a while ago, and you can see how the brick really stands out on that. I probably did that about 6 months ago. So first we're gonna shake the living crap out of this. The stuff settles, so if you buy it, you're probably gonna want to stir it really good. It really settles hard on the bottom. So when you first get it, if it's an older container, you might think it's not any good anymore because it feels really hard on the bottom. But it just, after about 10 minutes of stirring and then another 5 minutes of shaking, should do pretty good. This stuff was pretty fresh, so I'm just shaking it up really good. The thicker it is, the less it's going to flow into the grout lines. So you want it thin, and you can always add a little water to it. It's not gonna, it'll just take longer for it to dry. So that's just something to keep in mind. So it's fairly simple to do. We're just gonna dip our brush in there, and then we're just gonna go over top of this. And I'm just gonna coat it good, give it a nice coat. You want to do it from both directions so you get it in all the grout lines. Because sometimes it needs a little help. Don't be afraid to go thick with this stuff. It's going to wipe off. In fact, it wipes off so well that once you get it down to where you like it, as far as the way your grout lines look, then seal it with a clear. I recommend Tester's Dull Coat. Works really good in these situations because you definitely don't want shiny brick. Unless you're going to paint the brick and have it with a shiny, gloss paint. Let's see here. Maybe a little more over here, a little thin. You don't really have to be overly neat with this. If you do get any other cracks, though, it can be a little difficult to remove. You might have to use the end of a toothpick or a pin or something to get it right. And light touch. Don't use it real deep. Don't push really hard on this. You just want to get this stuff to flow into the cracks. You don't want to scrub it out. So we're just doing nice. Yeah, I could use the bigger brush on this. This is kind of a big piece. So it's, one of those things that just takes a little time. But you wanted to see it, so we're bringing it to you. You want to know how to do this? We will show you. So that's what we do on this channel. We want people to learn how to do things so that they can do it for themselves and have the pride, the accomplishment, and come up with a much better product than they would have alone. So we're gonna wash out this, and now we let it dry. So you want it nice and dry. You don't want to hit this when it's wet, because if you do, you'll scrape it out with your towel. So we're just gonna let this dry, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, we are back. So let it dry for about 45 minutes or so. And we're just gonna wipe this off here. You don't want to push down real hard on this, and you want to use different parts of your rag. And you don't want to really push hard. You just want to kind of drag it across the top. The more you rub, the more you're going to rub the stuff out of the cracks. Turn your rag. I mean, you can always go back over this, so if you end up wiping out a section, you can come back to it. Like there's a few spots in here I went a little light on stuff. Let's see if we can get it up closer here. So, you know, if you let it dry a little bit longer, I kind of let it dry the minimum amount of time, but if you give it maybe a good hour or so, more of it will stick in. But you can see that, you know, it's there. A few spots are a little light. I went a little too heavy, but yeah, I should let it dry a little bit longer, but that's just basically the gist of it. And, you know, you can take some complementary colors of brick paint, and you can paint different shades into the bricks. You know, like here you can see there's some different colors. There's some terracotta there, some gray, a little bit of red there. But it's enough to, you know, give you that multicolored brick look. And then after you get this to where you want it, you know, like this, if this is too light or, you know, some spots, you know, it needs to be touched up, you can always touch it up, let it dry thoroughly, and then wipe it up with your rag. You can do that as many times as you want, and then when you get it to where you need it, or it looks right, then you can coat it with dull coat, and I strongly recommend you do that. It helps dull everything up, make sure your bricks aren't shiny, and you know, cuts down on the glare and the reflection, makes things look a lot more realistic. That's one thing I see a lot with people in their dioramas, is that things are too shiny. You know, you're letting the gloss paints and the glossy plastics and that stuff, you know, things don't have that kind of shine in real life. You know, cars have shine if you wax them and wash them, but a lot of people don't, so they have a slight coat of dust even over those. So basically, that's it on the bricks. You asked for it, I'll show you. So if you got anything else you need demonstrated, if I can do it, I will. I'm always open to people's suggestions and requests. This was a request from one of the viewers to show how we did the bricks. So you can also add weathering powder to that if you want later. You can weather it with some powder like I did with the buildings, or you could just leave it as it is. But it sure is a lot better than just, you know, putting your painting your brick red and putting it up like that. You know, this actually looks like brick. That looks like sandpaper. So that's it for today. Please like, subscribe, share the video with your friends, encourage other people to like, subscribe, hit the comment, ask questions. I always try to answer as much as I can. So have a good one. We'll see you next time.